I'm going to show you how to deploy machine learning model to production today. We are going to deploy Bangalore home price prediction website to Amazon EC2. On the same cloud EC2 instance, we will have our website as well as our Python Flask server running. Eventually, you will be able to load this kind of URL in your browser and the website will be fully functional. This is a temporary URL that Amazon gives, but if you buy a domain, let's say abc.com from GoDaddy, then you can map that to this URL, and then after that, when you do abc.com, it will load this website and it will be fully functional. It is going to be so much fun deploying your code to production and running it end to end, so please watch till the end. Here is the brief architecture of our application. In Amazon EC2 instance, I will be using nginx as my web server. Nginx is a light web server which can serve to HTTP request. When you load the URL into your web browser, it will go to our instance, and from nginx web server, it will return all our app.html, JS and CSS file back to the server. After that, when you click on a button to predict the home price from your JS file from your browser, it will again make a call to nginx server, and we'll be using a reverse proxy setup on nginx to route all our requests /API request to our Python Flask server, which will be running on the same EC2 instance and using the saved ML model to solve the prediction request. So this is just a brief architecture. We are going to first set up nginx in development environment on Windows, and once the setup looks okay, we'll do the same setup on Ubuntu server in our EC2 instance. First, download nginx by googling this. You will get this link. Go to that link, click on this particular link to download the zip file, unzip the zip file. So you go to downloads. I downloaded the file here, I unzipped it, and then I copied that folder into C program files. So if I go here and search for nginx, I have this folder. In this one, the configuration file is very important. So if you go to conf and click on nginx conf and edit that file, here you will notice a couple of things. But before we go into this file, let's test that this server is looking good. So for that, what I will do is I will go to here, double click on this. So that has started the web server. You can see that into processes here. You can see the web server is started. What it helps you do is when you do localhost like this, you get welcome nginx HTML page. So by default, now it is going to a specific directory and loading the HTML page when you say localhost. So what is that? So that is specified into nginx.conf. So here, when you look at it, it is saying that location is root is HTML. And in that, if you find either index.html or index.htm, render that file. Okay, so let's see HTML folder. So here I have HTML folder. In that, when you see index.html, it is rendering this file in the browser. So if you look at this file, you can see welcome to nginx. So this is the file that is being rendered here. So now what I want to do is when I say localhost, I want to render my Bangalore home prices page. How can I do that? I have that folder into my C this directory. So all I have to do is instead of HTML directory, I have to make this my default directory so that it loads app.html. In order to do that, what you have to do here is instead of HTML, just specify that path. So I'm going to change this to this. So now by default, when I say localhost, it will go into this directory and it will look for either index.html or index.htm. But our file name is app.html. So you can just add app.html here. So now the file is saved. You need to kill the old server and start the new one. So I'm gonna end the process and then go to nginx directory, double click on it. So the nginx server is started again. You can see it here. And when I go and here run localhost, it is now loading my website. So you can see that now you don't have to load a specific HTML page. You can just say localhost and it will load the website. What it is not doing, however, is it is not rendering, and this estimate price is not working, etc. So we have to make that working. For that, you can just go to your app.js, and in app.js, what I did is, see, previously I had this code where I was making HTTP call on my local host on 5000 port, specific port. Okay, I want to change that and I want to just say /API get location name. I don't want it to be bounded by specific IP address and a port. It should be all dynamic. Again, this code base is covered in our previous 7 tutorials for data science project of predicting home prices in Bangalore. So if you have not seen those tutorials, I highly recommend watching them. Same way, I have changed this URL as well for getting a location name. So you can see that now it's not hard coded to specific port and IP. It is very dynamic. It is saying /API/predict home price. Now, when you do /API, how does it know which server to go to? Okay, so we are going to run our Flask server on 5000 port only. We need to configure the reverse proxy in nginx web server so that whenever do localhost /API/predict home price, it routes those requests to 5000 port. So we can do all of that in the same configuration file. And the way to do that would be this. So we can copy this here. So let's see. So you can do that copy. So just add this particular section here in your com file. What this is saying is whenever I get any HTTP call which has /API, and after slash it could be anything, okay, that request should be routed to the same host but the 5000 port. So you can see that we are dynamically routing /API request to the server running on this specific port. And once you do that, you need to again terminate your nginx process and kind of restart your nginx once again. So I'm gonna restart it now that my file is saved and my reverse proxy is set up. I'm running it. So now my new server is running with the new configuration. I need to now run Python Flask server. So Python Flask server is in the server directory. So I will just say python server.py. So this part is same. The same Flask server is running on 5000 port. Alright, server is up and running. Let's test our website now. So when I refreshed, you can see that it loaded all the locations, and when you estimate the price, it's working. So now you don't have to do specific port, anything. Just say localhost and your whole website is up and running. You can press F12 to see the incoming and outgoing traffic. If you don't know about how to debug JavaScript code in Chrome, you should learn it. It is going to be very, very beneficial. In the network request, when you press F5 again to refresh, you will see get location name request, and in the response you see that this is the response returned by our Python Flask server. When you click on estimate price, again you see new request predict home price, where the estimated price is returned like this. You can go to sources to see the source code. You can also set a breakpoint, like if you click here it will set a breakpoint. If you want to debug it, you can just say F5 and F5, say it gets you here in a breakpoint. So if you do like either do F10 or click on this tab into next function call, and it will show you all the states. So this debugging could be very useful. I have another breakpoint here, and if I just click on this, it will come here, and you can just see in the data that you got this location array back. You can see that data here. You see data locations, so you got all those locations back here. My local setup looks good. Now let's move on to cloud. You can go to AWS console, sign into the console using your Amazon account. You can create this account for free. Once you are here, type in EC2. Amazon AWS offers different services. EC2 is basically virtual machine in a cloud. They also have storage service, which is EC3. They have Amazon Textract, SageMaker, different services. We are interested in EC2. Once you go here, we are going to create a virtual machine. Okay. So you'll click on launch instance. Here you can select a specific machine. You have different options. There is Red Hat. These are like different versions of Linux. We are going to use Ubuntu, so you can just say select. And we will be using free tier. So again, Amazon will charge you if your usage goes beyond certain point. So whatever we are doing is pretty much, it requires less resources, so we are going to use a free tier. I will skip through all these steps, and then because the default settings that Amazon is giving, they're good. They're giving me 8 GB storage on my virtual machine, which is okay. I will go to configure security step and create security group name. So I will just say Bangalore home prices. Okay, that's my security group name. Here, I want to add a rule saying that for all HTTP, so click on HTTP. HTTP requests are served on port 80. HTTPS is served on port 843. So if you do HTTPS, it is port 443. This is the standard. And I want to add these two so that from outside world, anyone can call my web server and they can make HTTP request. Okay, we are going to make HTTP request from your local Chrome browser. Hence, these two rules are required. Now say review and launch. So this is the review. Okay, these are the rules. Instance details, storage details, see storage 8 GB. Our virtual machine is pretty small. Click on launch. Here you need to choose a key pair. So let's create a new key pair. So I'll say create new pair, and I will say Bangalore home prices, BHP, and then download key pair. So this is downloading a PEM file, which is Amazon ways of authentication, so that when you connect to their EC2 cloud server, you don't have to specify password, but you can specify this PEM file, which will kind of serve as a password. So this file I'm going to copy. So you can say Control C and go to your users directory. My user directory name is Viral, and here go to .ssh directory and Control V. So now your .pem file is saved here. You make sure you save this file because that is an important step. Now click on launch instances. So it will take few seconds or few minutes to launch your instance. You can go to view instances here, and it will show you all the running instances or pending instances. So I have this pending instance. I have one more instance which is running, but ignore that. For you, you will be seeing this as your pending instance. So we are waiting for that to be initialized. You can see that my new EC2 instance is up and running. The next step is to connect it using SSH client. So what we are doing is from your local Windows machine, you are connecting with the EC2 instance on cloud. For that, you can use git bash. So if you have not installed git bash, so git bash Windows, just download and install it. It is again a free software. On that, type in ssh -i. I is your key location. So if you remember, we saved bhp.pem in this location, and then the EC2 instance identifier. So here, if you click on this and if you say connect, it will give you the connect instruction. So the connect instructions is this. So this is user at public DNS for that instance. So I'm going to copy it, paste here. Yes. And now I'm connected to that instance. If you look at pwd, see I'm in that home Ubuntu directory. Now I am on cloud. Whatever I'm doing on this Linux machine, that is happening on Amazon AWS cloud. You can see it will have, see, different directory. This is a Linux operating system now. Now let's copy all our code into cloud machine using WinScp. So WinScp icon is here. I'm going to double click on it to launch it. And now here you want to connect to EC2 instance. So what is your host name? The host name is here. So just Control C, Control V. Your username is Ubuntu. The password is specified by the .pem. EC2 here is not using any password. We are using the .pem authentication key. So here click on authentication, and in private key, go to that directory, see users viral.ssh. Here click on all private keys. So our private key was bhp.pem. When you say open, it needs to convert that into ppk file because PuTTY understands ppk. Hence, you can just say OK and it will do auto conversion from .pem to .ppk file. So you can just say save, OK. Now you got ppk, OK, login. So now it's connecting to our cloud server. So now it connected successfully. You can see home Ubuntu. There are no files here. So here you can click on this icon and go to different directories. So my code base is in CPy data science file. So see, I have Bangalore home prices where I have client, model, server, all the files. So I'm now going to copy the entire folder. So you can just drag and drop. So this will copy the files from local machine to your cloud server. And once the copy is over, you can come here and in your present working directory, when you do ls, you will see Bangalore home prices here. Now we can install nginx on our Ubuntu server. For that, you can first run sudo apt-get update. This will update all the packages that you have locally on this particular EC2 instance. Once that is done, we can run the same command, but this time let's install nginx. So nginx, and that will install nginx web server on EC2. apt-get is a way to install software on Ubuntu. My nginx is installed perfectly fine. You can check the status of nginx by saying sudo service nginx status. So this is saying it's running. So when we install it, it not only installed it, it started the server as well. Now how can we confirm that this server is running fine? For that, you can load the web URL into your browser. So for our server, the web URL is this. When I copy paste that web URL, see, it is saying that it is running nginx on that machine. I just changed the font size and a background color to make it look a little more better. Now here also nginx server is by default rendering some HTML. Okay, so when you go here and when you see welcome to nginx file, where does it get this file from? We just need to replace this HTML with our Bangalore home price homepage. So let's check that. So the nginx folder structure is little different on Ubuntu versus Windows. The directory is this. It is in etc. Okay, so this is the directory. If you do all the files, these are the files it has. And if you look at the nginx conf file, so let's check the nginx conf file. So this file is actually pointing us to this site enabled directory. Okay, and from site enabled directory it is rendering that HTML file. So now let's look at the sites enabled directory. So sites enabled directory has this default file. It has only one file, which is a default. And when you look at the default file root is var www html. And when you look at var www html index dot this html, you can see that welcome to nginx. So this is the HTML page that is being rendered here. All we want to do is change this default page to Bangalore home price prediction homepage, which is in home Ubuntu directory. Now let's go back to our sites enabled. So whatever is in the sites enabled directory, it will use that as a home page for port 80 default HTML rendering. And here there is only one file. If you do ll, you will see that it is actually a symlink to sites available. So the general practice in nginx is that the configuration files are kept in sites are available, and there is a symlink that you create into sites enabled. Okay, so first of all, I want to disable the default configuration. So I can just say sudo unlink default. So now I don't have default file here because I don't want that. And I want to go to sites available. Now you can see that sites available has default file as well. And I want to create one more file here called bhp.conf. So I will do vim bhp.conf, and this configuration file will point me to my Bangalore home prices directory. Now if you go to my GitHub on this particular link, which I'm going to provide in the video description below, I have given the bhp.conf file just to save some typing time. So you can just copy paste that. Let me explain. So what this is doing is you are running a server on port 80, which is a standard for HTTP request. You are just giving some server name. And your root, it is home Ubuntu directory. So remember on WinScp, in home Ubuntu, we have Bangalore home prices, client, and app.html is our home page. So that's what we are doing. We're saying go to this root and look for app.html file, and it will load that file. This is our reverse proxy setup, where it is saying that on the same server, if you get /API/calls, then pass them to 5000 port, and on the 5000 port we will be running our Python Flask server. Okay, so let's save this file. So now I have two files, bhp.conf and default, and I will create a symlink in my sites enabled. The way you do symlink is by running this command. So using this command, okay, let me just make it a little smaller. Okay, using this command, I am creating a symlink. When you do ll, now see the symlink is created. You can see there is a symlink for bhp.conf. Okay, and bhp.conf looks something like this. All right. Now let's restart our nginx server so that it can use this new configuration. Whatever is in this particular directory, it is going to use that configuration. Okay, so we can run sudo service nginx restart, and now check the status. So the status is saying just 5 seconds ago, I started this servers, it is up and running. Now go to your browser, refresh the page, and you can see that now it is loading your home page for the website. Okay, so this part looks good, but still the call to the backend to the Python Flask server is not working. You can see choose location is not there, estimate price is not working, and if you do F12, if you refresh in the network, you will see that this request is failing with fire to bed gateway. Well, obviously because our Python Flask server is not running on that machine, so we need to run it. So just go to git bash. I'm going to now start my server. For that, you can go to home directory, server, and just start the server. Now before we start the server, we have to install a couple of things. We have this service, this machine is blank, it doesn't have all the modules which are required by our server. So if let's do ls. So this particular directory has a file called requirement.txt. So what is requirement.txt? Let's check that. Requirement.txt has all the Python modules that we need for our backend server. So you are going to install that by running. First, let's get pip3. So first, let's check if Python 3 is there. So when I run Python 3, I get it. So Python 3 is already installed. Let's see if pip3 is there. So pip3 is not there. And they're saying, okay, install it using this command. So I'll just install it. So install pip3 first. It will take few seconds and then pip3 gets installed. Now use pip3 to install all the requirements. So what this will do is it will go to requirement.txt, look at all the modules and install all of them. All my modules are installed. Now I can start my server, python 3 server.py. The server is up and running on this local host 5000 port, and now refresh this page. When you refresh it, you see, voila, all the locations are here, and click on estimate price, and now your code is working. See, now you have fully functional website hosted on Amazon EC2 cloud. You can then go to GoDaddy or Bluehost, buy the domain, Bangalore home price is bhp.com, map it to here, and then later on you can run bhp.com, and it will load this website and it will be up and running. Whatever code we covered in this tutorial, I have it available on my GitHub. I am going to provide the link into video description below. The GitHub README file has a useful instruction, the kind of commands that we went over in this particular tutorial. So look at that README file and try to deploy the model on your own. Practicing on your own is very important, and Amazon EC2 free tier instances you don't have to pay any money for it. So just go try it out. Let me know how it goes. If you have any question, post in the comment. I try to answer as many comments as possible. Also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up.